What is going on, everybody? And I hope you're enjoying your Saturday afternoon/evening so far. This is NYG Jeffy T 85, and I'm here to bring you my keys for a New York Giants victory against the Green Bay Packers Sunday morning in London, England, in week number 5. Now, obviously, the New York Giants are going to be going into this game, and they're going to be playing against one of the best NFL quarterbacks, not only in the past 5 or 10 years, but in NFL history, when they're going to be going up against Aaron Rodgers. This is not going to be an easy game, so any Giants fan that thinks it's going to be an easy game, be careful. The Packers, while they are not still a very explosive team on offense like they have been in previous years, they don't necessarily have the wide receiver firepower that they did in previous years. This is still a football team that you have to look out for, and this is still a football team that's going to go out there and be a problem going into the season. Because of the fact that they have a very solid defense overall, and they have a very solid running game. They're similar to us in a way. Their wide receiver core is not the best out there. They're relying on some younger players and some guys that are solid wide receivers, but nothing special. So they're mainly going to get it done on the running game as well as they're going to get it done on the defense. But I'm going to give you guys my keys to victory for the New York Giants to defeat the Green Bay Packers tomorrow morning in London. First, I'm going to go over the injury report right now real quickly. Obviously, the New York Giants are going to be missing some key players in this game Sunday. Right now, they're going to be without defensive lineman Henry Mondo. He's dealing with the ankle injury. Cordero Flott, he's out of this game. He's dealing with the calf injury. The Giants are banged up right now badly at the wide receiver position. No Kenny Golladay. He's dealing with a sprained MCL. He might actually be put on injured reserve soon if he doesn't heal up before the beginning of this week. Kadarius Toney now has a strained hamstring in his other leg, so he right now is going to be out for this game. And Wan'Dale Robinson, while he made the trip to London with the team, he's also been ruled out of this game as he's still coming back from his own sprained MCL, so he's going to be missing his 4th game of the season. And some other players that the Giants are going to be missing. Of course, Azeez Ojulari, he's out of this game right now. He's dealing with also a calf injury that he re-aggravated in the game against the Chicago Bears. So the Giants are going to be missing some key players on this team, but some positives at least. It sounds like that Leonard Williams will be back in the game. He will be back with the Giants after missing a couple of games after he sprained his MCL against the Carolina Panthers a couple of weeks ago during week 2. He looks like he's going to be back for the New York Giants, so that's going to be a positive sign to get him back in the middle of that defensive line, along with Dexter Lawrence, and as well as you still got Kayvon Thibodeau on the edge. He's coming back from his own sprained MCL, I know. There's like the New York Giants sprained MCLs out here with the amount of injuries they have on this team. But at least you got those two guys coming back, so you have Leonard Williams back on that defensive line to help out with the pass rush as well as the run game, which is going to help out that run defense overall. And another big positive, Daniel Jones looks like he's going to be playing this game. He's already said he's ready to go. He's practiced full for the New York Giants so far this week. So the Giants are going to be getting the starting quarterback in this game. And it's a positive, at least, that maybe he's going to be healthy enough where the Giants are going to be able to go out there and put out their full complement of their running game, which is including some bootleg runs for Daniel Jones on the outside. Though maybe I wouldn't be surprised. Daniel Jones is probably not 100% in this game. That ankle injury is probably still giving him a little bit of problems, so I wouldn't expect Daniel Jones to be running as much as he has in the first few games, but I think they'll still try to do some design runs and some bootlegs to the outside with some fake handoffs to Saquon Barkley, and they're probably going to give it to Daniel Jones and see if he can run some of those plays because that Packers defense is playing aggressive, and they sometimes play undisciplined on the outside, so we're going to have to see how that's going to go forward with this game. But here are my keys to the New York Giants getting a victory against the Green Bay Packers. Number one key, obviously for me, is special teams. The Giants have got to continue to play well on the special teams side of the aspect. They have to make sure they continue to do well, punting the ball down the field. I like Jamie Gillen. I think he's doing a solid job. Not spectacular, but I think he's doing a solid job in terms of giving the Giants pretty decent field position and pinning the other team back towards their own 20, 25-yard line. So I expect to see Jamie Gillen to continue to do that and put the opposing team in precarious situations where they're going to have to drive up the field to be able to get to the position where they need to be. And as well, what I'm looking for as well is I'm hoping for that Richie James and Gary Brightwell are going to be able to provide this special teams unit a chance to get up and get good field position for this team in terms of kickoffs and punt returns. The Giants right now, they're still getting pinned towards the back of the field. They're still getting pinned at around the 10, 15, sometimes 20 or 25-yard line. The Giants at times are taking the ball out when you don't know why they're doing that. And you should just let the ball stay in the end zone and take it out at the 25. It's much better than trying to take it out from the outside of the end zone and then trying to make something out of nothing, and then you end up being pinned towards the back of the field, and that's just not a smart thing to do with this New York Giants offense, or the special teams. Plus, the coverage units have got to be better, because at times the Giants coverage unit has been very good, but at times they've also let up some big plays in the special teams unit. So you got to make sure you do that. Amari Rodgers is not a bad returner for the Green Bay Packers. He's not, one of the most electric returners out there, but the guy can't get the ball up to 35, 40-yard line for the Green Bay Packers. So the Giants have to make sure they're on alert for that too going into this game against the Green Bay Packers. So coverage is going to have to be a strength for this team. Coverage units, as well as being able to punt the ball very solid. Graham Gano is a guy I don't worry about. I'm very confident in Graham Gano every time he's out there to make the kick. I know he's missed a couple of kicks recently. One was blocked, and the Wind took another one in that game last week against Chicago when he clanked it off the post on the game against the Bears. So I'm not worried about Graham Gano. It's really just about the coverage units, and it's really just about the return game that the New York Giants have got to try to capitalize on and do much better than they have in these recent few games, if the Giants special teams wants to make an impact. Number 2 key for the game. Obviously, this has been a running theme for the New York Giants all season for me, running the football. And the Green Bay Packers right now are one of the worst teams in terms of stopping the run. They give up at least about 4 or 5, sometimes 6 yards per carry to the opposing teams in the running game. And Saquon Barkley right now is leading the league in rushing with over 460 yards rushing on the ground. Plus Daniel Jones, he's had back-to-back games where he's had an impact rushing the ball, including last week against Chicago before he got hurt. He had 2 rushing touchdowns on some bootleg plays where they faked the handoff to Saquon Barkley, and then Daniel Jones bootlegged to the opposite side and ran in for a touchdown. So I guarantee that's going to be a big part of the playbook if Daniel Jones is able to run that play consistently. So I expect that to be part of it. And with this Green Bay Packers defensive run, when this run defense on the Packers, I expect the Giants to go out there and continuously be able to run the ball and run the ball efficiently against this bad Green Bay Packers run defense, especially with the fact that the Giants right now, they're handicapped in terms of what they could do at the wide receiver position. They're right now decimated with injuries and ineffective play, so I expect the running back position in Saquon Barkley to be able to take advantage of it. Do not be surprised the Giants run a good amount of 12 and sometimes 13 personnel on the field because of the fact that we're missing right now a bunch of guys in terms of the injuries right now at the wide receiver position. So I expect Saquon Barkley to get a lion's share of the touches on offense in this game. I expect to see some 3 running back combinations out there. You might see Brightwell on the outside. You might see Barkley a split wide. You might see Braid a split wide. You might have 2 running backs in the backfield. You could have a fullback. You could have one of those running backs line up as a fullback. I expect the Giants to be running a ton of 3 running backs in this game because of the fact they're so banged up at the wide receiver position. So I expect the Giants to go out there and not only run the ball, but run the ball efficiently, and that's including Daniel Jones in some of those bootleg plays, some of those design runs for this Giants offense going forward. So that's what I'm really looking forward to in this Giants offense going forward, is being able to run the ball and run the ball efficiently in this game against the Green Bay Packers. And obviously my 3rd key to the game, the Giants have to stop the run. So it's a nice formula right now going on with the Giants. Stop the run the football. In this case, you have to stop the run because the Giants have been getting gashed at times in the run game by opposing teams. This has a lot to do with the fact that Leonard Williams has not been present on this defense going forward. He's been dealing with the MCL sprain. His presence obviously has been missed in the middle of that field, whether it's the pass rush, but especially the run game. So you figure you get Leonard Williams back in there. That's going to help out the run defense, but you still have to think about it. That team's got Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Both of them are very effective running backs. Pretty much one is that power back. A.J. Dillon's the power back who's going to run it north and south at the middle. And then you have Aaron Jones, who could also run it north and south at the middle. But his main usage in the games is he's a guy that can go out there and he could pretty much he can pretty much bounce it to the outside. He's also very strong in the receiving game. So you have to watch out for the running backs on this Green Bay Packers team. Aaron Rodgers is going to do what Aaron Rodgers does. Even with a lesser than adequate wide receiver core than what he's had previously, the Green Bay Packers have a different element to their offense that they haven't had in a while, and that's the running game. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon can factor in to this game tomorrow morning. And the New York Giants have got to do a better job in terms of stopping the run against this Green Bay Packers team. So hopefully the Giants are going to be up to the task. With Leonard Williams potentially back in the lineup, it's going to help out that run defense, but the Giants cannot afford to give up 4, 5, 6 yard runs on first and second down and give Aaron Rodgers and that Green Bay Packers offense a short field to be able to operate and be able to pick up those short and easy first downs because of the fact that Aaron Rodgers is so good at reading the blitzes. And you know that's going to be a big thing going into this game too. Wink Martindale loves to blitz. We all know he loves to blitz. He's been doing a great job so far in this season with his blitz schemes, but Aaron Rodgers is a smart quarterback, and he'll know when the blitz is coming. He'll be able to get that ball out quickly. But maybe the Giants have to stop the run, because if you could stop the run, it's going to make Green Bay one-dimensional, and that's exactly what's going to help out this Giants defense, is making Green Bay one-dimensional, taking away the run, and making Green Bay have to pass the ball mostly in this game with lesser than adequate wide receivers, even though some of these guys are pretty decent. Fourth key to the game, it's going to lie into Aaron Rodgers, and of course, it's going to be the pass rush. Pass rush is another theme with the New York Giants. Last week, they had 6 sacks in the game. 6 sacks against Justin Fields and that Chicago Bears offense and against that offensive line. The Giants have got to make sure they be able to bring the pressure. Obviously, not having Azeez Ojulari in the game is going to hurt the outside rush. He was doing a very good job. He had a sack in that game and a forced fumble. So the Giants are going to have to try to get some outside production. Hopefully, with Kayvon Thibodeau continuing to coming back from that sprained MCL, he's going to be able to apply more pressure on the outside to that Green Bay Packers offensive line and that Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers on the outside. So I'm looking forward to seeing this pass rush do better. Dexter Lawrence had a couple of sacks last week. He's been applying a whole lot of pressure up the middle. He's been having himself a Pro Bowl-like season so far. He had a forced fumble as well. He had a tackle for loss. Dexter Lawrence is going to have to continue to create and apply the pressure up the middle of the field, as well as Leonard Williams. If he is in fact back for this game against the Packers, he's another guy who's going to be factoring into this game in terms of being up the field, in the middle of that field with pressure, trying to make it uncomfortable for Aaron Rodgers and that Green Bay Packers offense to continue to operate. So I'm looking forward to seeing if this team can apply the necessary pressure on the outside as well as up the middle and make this Green Bay Packers offense uncomfortable, and especially Aaron Rodgers uncomfortable in the pocket and out of the pocket. So it's going to have to be a lot of discipline on the outside too, with your outside linebackers and your defensive ends, to make sure that they don't over pursue their rush and allow Aaron Rodgers or some of these short passes to Aaron Jones or some of their wide receivers to create big plays for the Green Bay Packers against the New York Giants. So you got to look forward to that. You got to watch out for that if you're the New York Giants. But I expect the pass rush to really make an impact in this game against an okay Green Bay Packers offensive line. I know they got David Bakhtiari back at left tackle, but this is a guy that's been in and out of the lineup pretty much the past couple of years, so I don't expect him to be completely efficient out there in the game, but we'll have to see what's going to happen going forward. And my last key to the game, and it's not going to be a positional group, it's going to be a single player, and for me, it's Darius Slayton. This is a game right now that Darius Slayton can create an impact for the New York Giants on the outside because of the fact he has that deep speed, and he was able to show it off against the Chicago Bears, where he's able to get deep and draw a penalty on the Chicago Bears defense on one of those deep routes that he had, even though he should have caught the ball. But Darius Slayton is the one wide receiver on this team that every single Giants content creator has been saying that can get the ball, get down deep and create some of those big plays for this New York Giants offense. So I'm expecting, with the fact that the wide receiver core is so inefficient right now, I'm expecting Darius Slayton to be that guy on the outside to create those big plays and try to generate those 30 to 40 yard catches to stretch the field and make that Green Bay Packers defense honest. I'm expecting the fact that Jaire Alexander, who is one of the best cornerbacks in the league, he's probably going to be out there guarding Slayton because of the fact there's no Kenny Golladay, there's no Wan'Dale Robinson, there's no Kadarius Toney, and there's no Sterling Shepard in this game. Right now, the Giants are going to be operating at wide receiver with guys like Kevin Polk, with guys like Kamal Pimpleton. They're going to be having Marcus Johnson. These three guys are coming off the practice squad. Pimpleton, Polk, and Marcus Johnson. And the fact that you're going to have essentially your 5th, 6th, and 7th wide receivers on the depth chart. These guys are going to be out there as your top wide receivers, whether it's Darius Slayton, David Sills, and Richie James. These are going to be your top guys. But Darius Slayton is the one guy in this wide receiver core right now that could take the top off the defense and create some of those big plays on the outside for the New York Giants going forward. So I'm expecting deep plays for this New York Giants passing game. If it's possible, if you can get enough protection from the offensive line for the New York Giants, I'm expecting Darius Slayton to be able to go out there and create those big plays necessary to open up the field for the New York Giants going forward. So we're going to have to see what's going to happen with that. Hopefully the New York Giants can be able to stretch the field deep. And hopefully the New York Giants are going to be able to play solid defense against not a great Green Bay Packers offense. It's not a great Green Bay Packers offense at all, but I'm expecting this Giants defense to be able to apply the pressure on Aaron Rodgers and make him uncomfortable in and out of the pocket. And I expect the Giants to continue to run the football. You have to run the football consistently against this Green Bay Packers defense that is not great. They are not great in terms of run defense. They're very good in terms of their pass rush, and they're not bad in terms of their coverage. It's their run defense that is the weakness right now of their team. And what's the one thing the Giants have right now that's a strength on this offense? That's the running game. They have one of the best run-blocking offensive lines in the league. They have the best running game in the league. And they have the number 1 rushing running back in the league with Saquon Barkley. So I expect this offense to be able to continue to run the football and run the football consistently against this Green Bay Packers defense. We're going to have to see what's going to happen going into this game. I expect the Giants to play a very competitive game against the Packers. But unfortunately, you want to get mad at me, Giants fans, that's fine. I have to be real. I have to be honest. I think because of the injuries we have in this game, I actually have picked the Green Bay Packers to pull out the victory in this game against the New York Giants by the score of 21-17. I just think that the Giants, you can't ever take away what Aaron Rodgers can do in this league. So give credit where credit is due. I think the Packers are going to pull out a close one in this one, but the Giants are going to fight valiantly. They're going to play very well in this game on the defensive side. They're going to be able to get their plays in the running game, but I just think it's going to be a little bit too much to overcome in terms of the run game, in terms of the Aaron Rodgers and that Green Bay Packers team overall. So my keys to the game one more time. I have the special teams being the first key to the game. I think that the special teams is going to have to dictate the tone of this game, whether it's whether it's a kick return and punt return, getting the Giants into good field position on offense, and also being able to do very good kick coverage and punt coverage on the outside and making sure they keep Amari Rodgers from breaking off some of those big runs on special teams going forward. And of course, Jamie Gillen is going to have to punt the ball consistently, and I have all the confidence in the world in Graham Gano being able to kick the ball well in this game. The key number 2 for me is obviously running the football. I expect the Giants to be able to run the football early and often with some of those bootlegs and design runs for Daniel Jones. I expect Saquon Barkley to be able to get the rock as much as possible, 20 to 25, maybe 30 touches in this game. I think Saquon Barkley is going to be taking a heavy load in this game, especially with the fact that the wide receiver position is so banged up right now. My third key to the game is obviously being able to stop the run. You cannot allow Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon to be able to run wild in this game against the Giants' run defense that has been suspect at times, with Leonard Williams especially out of this game for the Giants. But I think the fact that Leonard Williams looks like he's going to be able to make his return for the Giants in this game, I think that's going to be a big key for this Giants defense, is being able to stop the run and make the Green Bay Packers one-dimensional on offense. My fourth key to the game is obviously the pass rush. I think the pass rush has got to make sure they get home to Aaron Rodgers, much like they did last week against Justin Fields when they sacked him 6 times in that game, including Dexter Lawrence picking up a couple of sacks in that game. So I expect this Giants pass rush to get there early and often. Yes, you won't have Azeez Ojulari in this game, but you still have Kayvon Thibodeau, who's coming back in his third game from his MCL sprain. You're potentially getting Leonard Williams back. Dexter Lawrence has been very good in terms of the interior pass rush, and Jahid Ward and Oshane Ximines have done a very admirable job on the outside in terms of their pass rush for the New York Giants. So I expect those guys to do it as well. And my fifth key to the game, Darius Slayton, being able to stretch the field and pick up some of those big chunk yard plays for the New York Giants on the outside when they are able to have the certain protection for the New York Giants on the offensive line. Evan Neal and Mark Lewinsky, they were both banged up in this game against Chicago, but both guys are going to give it a go tomorrow against the Green Bay Packers. So the offensive line should be intact. So we're going to have to go out there and see if Darius Slayton's going to be able to stretch the field and pick up some of those big chunk yardage plays against this Green Bay Packers secondary that is pretty solid, but the offensive line is going to have to hold up against a very good Green Bay Packers pass rush with Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary, and Kenny Clark in the middle of that defense. So those are some of my keys to the game for the New York Giants to pull off the victory against the Green Bay Packers. If you guys like this video, please hit the like button below. Sub up if you haven't already to NYGJeffyT85 for more breaking news, updates, chatter, and game predictions surrounding the New York Football Giants. Turn on the bell for notifications on the next video or short that's going to be dropping on the channel surrounding the New York Giants. And let me know in the comment section what are your keys to a New York Giants victory over the Green Bay Packers tomorrow morning in London, England, and what the Giants have to do to pull out this win and raise the record up to 4-1 on the season. I know it's awesome to say it. Potentially 4-1 on this NFL season to start it off. So I thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday afternoon/evening. And let's go, New York Football Giants. And as always, together blue, everyone.